Hi, and welcome to Relational Effectiveness. My name is John Hoerauf, and I'm going to be sitting in for Lynn for the next few days and talking to you about a program that I teach. First, though, I want to thank the Strategic Advisor Board for sponsoring these episodes. In the last few videos, I discussed this topic in a general sense, kind of giving an overview, and I realized it'd be helpful to actually have pictures to kind of show you a little bit of diagrams and so forth. So the first thing I want to remind you of is we're looking at motivation in a little different way. So I've given you some definitions of things. And the first one is this definition of motivation. It's a force exerted against a person's will with the intent of moving it in a particular direction. So as you think about this, remember motivation, we're kind of personifying it. We're giving it a desire to move your will in a certain way. And so motivation is that force that moves it in that direction. It's not just a feeling, it's not just a desire. There's something there that tends to push us in a certain way. And even think of it just in a general sense. If you decide to go on a diet and you're going to stop eating sugar, anytime you go past a donut shop, you're going to smell the donuts and they're going to drive you to want to do that. There's something inside of you that's pushing you to want to do something that you've decided not to do. And so that's what that motivation is. And what we're going to look at is how to harness different ways of actually getting that to work for us instead of working against us. Now, this next diagram, I have a lot of things on here, so I'm going to kind of show it to you in pieces. First of all, I talked about a difference between lower order motivations and higher order motivations. The lower order motivations, that's that traditional view of grit and strong will. That's kind of the way we tend to approach motivation is I need to get myself motivated. And so what I do is I just try really hard. I make a promise to myself. I bring in people to help me, to motivate me, to be accountable to, and that kind of a thing. And what you'll notice, what I talked about with that is that's good for short-term goals. If I just need to do something for the next couple of weeks, if I have an event coming up and I want to lose 5 pounds and I decide I'm going to fast and I'm going to exercise extra, I'm going to drink a lot of water, only eat vegetables, for a short time I can do that sort of a thing. Or when you have a very strong resolve, it can work out if you are really able to just grit your teeth, if you're the kind of person that can just stick with something. It can work in that sense. I question how much of an internal change is actually happening, but it does do that outside change. This also can work to bring immediate change. When you're working on something like this, it can bring a short-term change. If something needs to change quickly, this way of doing it can work. But the problem is this needs to be constantly fed from an outside source. In other words, the motivation just left to its own isn't going to move you in the direction that you really want to go. What it's going to do is keep falling back to the direction that it wants to go on its own. So you have to keep feeding it. And that's why it takes that grit and that self-determination. You have to keep pushing in that way. So that's our look at lower order motivation. Tomorrow we're going to look at the higher order motivation side and just kind of review with this graphic on how that works so that we can kind of start taking a deeper look into that side of things. Until then, have a great day.